need to be able to like categorize and taxes and the IRS and things of that nature. And I feel like for me, because I didn't see that back in as a priority, I really didn't prioritize it till it was like, okay, well, you do have to file paperwork. Then I remember I went to like Upwork. I typed in something like bookkeeping or something like that. It's almost like a different language that I'm trying to learn at this point.
Welcome y'all to the From Chaos to Clarity podcast, unleashing your business potential. My name is Sonia Jones of GFP Financial Joe, Mr. Miyagi of Money, and today I have the CEO of Mastermind Your Life, throwing the peace sign, Mr. Tolu Owoyemi. Thank you, Tolu, for coming to the podcast.
No, thank you for inviting me. I'm excited to be here today.
Wonderful. And so you know how we get down, y'all. We are going to talk about how entrepreneurship, especially in your finances, how you can, it always starts a little chaotic. Let's just be honest.
Well,
but with the right help, you can go from chaos to clarity.
Yeah.
So Tolu, tell us a little bit about your business, Mastermind Your Life.
Yeah. Mastermind Your Life, I would say in a nutshell, is a lot of digital marketing. You know, we live in a digital era. People are on their cell phones. People are browsing the internet. But a lot of small businesses, they need marketing. They have great value, great services. They need marketing in order to get the attention of people. Hey, I exist. This is how we can service you. So my business, I've been able to help people do webinars, podcasts, Facebook ads. Just help them with like their SMS email strategy. Just helping them get more attention to their business.
Wonderful. And when was your business established?
Oh, that's a great question. Towards the end of 2021.
Right. Okay. It's all right. Pandemic time. Everybody still kind of look in the house trying to think of ways to, boost their income.
Yes.
Right. So I totally understand that. So let's talk about your finances for your business one. So when you first got started, how did you track your finances?
You know what? I don't even think I did. I think I used Quickbooks or like an Excel sheet, and I really didn't pay too much attention to them. You know what? In fact, when I first started, I was just relying on looking at chase.com where the bank account is located and just looking at it that way.
Got you. Right. And that's pretty common. Even like when we still have consultations, we ask, our prospective clients what type of accounting system they use. They're like, child, I got online banking. It's like, that is great. But we need to dig a little deeper, right?
Yes.
Yeah, right. We don't want to, shortchange the banks at all, because not only are they showing you those transactions, you can actually download those transactions either in CSV format, Excel format, if you have QuickBooks, QBO format, and put that information, in some type of organization spreadsheet platform.
Yeah.
Sort your stuff out, right? So from when you first got your checking account, which was great because that's another building block. Once you start your business, please start separating your business and your personal expenses, right?
Incredible.
And there are plenty of free business checking accounts. So we got the business checking account.
Yes.
So do you remember when it kind of, hit the light bulb for you like, oh, snap, I'm bringing in a lot of money. And I don't know where my money is going. I need to do something a little bit, more high level, or take another step to get my financials organized.
Yeah. And I think that's the power and importance of like mentors, because still when money started flowing in, I was kind of like raw dogging it. Like this, okay, that's cool, because I didn't come from a background of, investment banking or things of that nature. And I remember somebody told me something about QuickBooks. And it was like, you need to be able to like categorize and taxes and the IRS and things of that nature. And I feel like for me, because I didn't see that back in as a priority, I really didn't prioritize it till it was like, okay, well, you do have to file paperwork. Then I remember I went to like Upwork. I typed in something like bookkeeping or something like that, found somebody, and then so I feel like it was advice that was given to me. Found somebody, his name was like Mohammed Galid. Even till today, he's there, he's helping us. And then, he started like, hey, you got to sign up for this QuickBooks subscription, and taking it, connect your bank account to QuickBooks, and then begin to categorize it. Yeah.
Okay, good. So I'm gonna ask you another question. We appreciate, right, just having those resources like Upwork and Fiverr.
Oh my God. Yes.
Things online, and there are plenty of online platforms where you can get, assistance with bookkeeping. But while you were working with you said, what was his name? Mohammed.
Yes.
Once you were working with Mohammed about QuickBooks, were you listening to any other, like what we call financial gurus about your business finances?
You know what? To be honest, Sonny, and I was saying this before the podcast, like the questions made me realize that I have a super surface level understanding. And I think what it is, I'm so focused, okay, I'm doing this for my customers, I'm marketing campaigns, launching. I would still say, even till today, talking to you made me realize that, okay, you got to understand this on a more granular level. Like, there's things that we did do. For example, we got this financial template off Etsy, and it's like a whole year's tracking sheet. So you can put like input, like income, expenses. You can categorize each and every single one of them. And I remember when we got that, I was feeling a whole lot more confident, because I was like, it felt like a system whereby we were paying more granular attention to what was coming in. But truth be told, I still feel like it's somewhere on the back burner. I'm like, not even that. I'm like, what campaign we launching today for so and so person?
Right. Gotcha. I love that. And so, so we talked about, Muhammad, right? And even just having, a baseline understanding.
Okay.
And the reason why I asked you that was because, a lot of folks, especially when it comes to your business finances, we are more reactive than proactive, right? And so that's one of the things that I know for GIP Financials, the reason why we're here is to make sure that we offer resources to keep entrepreneurs proactive. We want to get to you before the damage has already been done. Because in a lot of cases, once you get to us, there's only so much that we can do.
Wow.
Right? And we have to be honest about that. So I feel like it's our duty to be like, hey, you want to start a business? Come on over here. It's kind of like having a story, but come on, little kid.
Oh, my
Let me
God.
tell you a little story.
Oh,
right?
my God.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah. So tell me, let's go back to Muhammad. So what specific task did Muhammad do for you in your bookkeeping?
Great question. I remember there was one of my investors. He said, he knows a tax person, or you got to submit paperwork to the IRS, but it's got to be structured. It's got to be like, line item. So I remember Muhammad, even till today, he will ask me kind of like, what is this thing? What is this charge? And from what I recollect, he categorizes it. So inside of QuickBooks, he'll categorize it like the type of expense, the type like, is it food? Is this travel? Is this like Facebook ads? The income too as well. So what I noticed with him, he does two things. On the QuickBooks side, he's listing things out, but then on the Excel, the financial sheet side, each item that comes in either as income or expense, the date is there, the line item, the amount next to it too, and the category. Yeah. So I think he's kind of like recording, jotting, and structuring when it comes to like those financial line items.
Wonderful. And just like you had mentioned, just to give a little bit more commentary about that, bookkeeping, a lot of people ask, what's the difference between bookkeeping and accounting? Right? And I compare it to a nurse and a physician, right? So the bookkeeper, basically for definition's sake, is primarily data entry, right? So if you know the nurse, as soon as they call you back, they're getting your weight, your blood pressure, they're asking you all your questions about your prescriptions, why are you here, things like that. And all that information is going into a system.
Yeah.
Right? So the doctor can see it. The doctor will come in and kind of get clarification on everything that the nurse has submitted in order for he or her, right, he or she, to give you a proper diagnosis. Provided that you tell the truth and be at full disclosure of what's going on.
Yeah.
Right?
That's right.
And so with the accountant is the physician, right? So when Muhammad is putting in, that information, then there should be some data that goes out, especially in QuickBooks. I always, tell entrepreneurs about I call it, the 3 financial reports that every CEO should know, which would be the profit and loss. This is going to talk about the performance of your business. The balance sheet is what's going to tell you basically about your ownership status, right? The profit and loss is what the tax preparer wants to see. The top one, at least. The balance sheet is what the lender wants to see, right? And then your cash flow statement. That's going to be primarily for you, but to be able to distinguish like how much actual liquid cash you have, right? Because there's the difference between cash and profit, and we'll talk about that on another episode. So does Muhammad also provide for you like your financial reporting, or if not, who does that for you?
Truth be told, not. And now that you bring it up, it's something that I should be paying attention to. And truth be told, even with the questions that I got earlier, I remember I told I said, pull up all the expenses and income. I said, we're going to build out a dashboard. I want to see a financial forecast for the next, our burn rate. What is our income expenses for the week? Because I think I kind of navigate with instincts, but that's not you don't want to do that as time goes on. So I realize even now with the question that you're asking me, I could go check the bank balance. Okay, that's good. Or, but being able to have it concrete on paper, like right there, you looking at it, I think is going to be so much more powerful, and even allowing you to kind of like, hey, we don't really need these subscriptions right here, or hey, this person is doing what, and we're paying all of this. Because sometimes, now that I think about it, I'm so focused on the front end, or hey, did this campaign do this for this person, and is it launched at this time? I will, because I'm like, that's the money generator. That's, this is a new, right. But the back end, I'm like, it'll handle itself. So now talking to you is like, no, you got to reinforce that and bring more attention to it.
Right, exactly. So I think 2 of the biggest ways that you can plan for 2024, especially since you have QuickBooks, you already brought one of those already to the forefront, is those subscriptions, right? Those recurring expenses. And so I'll take myself as an example. So I just recently, right before InvestFest, I purchased a platform, and with the shout out to Tolu.
Yeah.
Tolu put me up on some game about some white label things. Appreciate that, sir. Because I was saying, I was like, I can't get nobody to help me set this stuff up.
Oh my God.
And so with that, because what I did while I had purchased that subscription for that platform, I was using ConvertKit and Appointlet, right? Wow. So I still have them, just in case something went awry with, that platform. But now that I've got some help there in that platform, now I can safely release those other 2.
That's right.
Because I've got, some help there. So you just have to be very intentional, about those things. And especially like with all your, subscriptions, check to see if there's features in one that the other one can do.
Yep.
And from a price perspective, right now, you might need somebody else that's expert in those platforms to kind of tell you, the bang for your buck.
That's right.
But those are the types of, analysis and things that you have to look for. So that's expenses. Now, I'm also giving some game on your income because, especially in QuickBooks, a lot of people just want to throw all their money into either sales or service. I strongly encourage everybody to split out your income based off of what you provide. Right? If you're a service-based provider, there's a feature in QuickBooks called products and services.
Wow.
And you can literally put all your products and services, how much they are, the description of those products and services, and if those things, especially products, are taxable, because QuickBooks can set up the taxes for those things as well and charge accordingly. So like for me, we have like our general like bookkeeping income, but we also have workshop income. We have coaching income. We have grant income, right? And so the more detailed you are, it's going to help you to see, right? Even like with, from like the broader P&L standpoint, and I'm going to just focus on QuickBooks.
Yeah.
It'll let you know, like for the month, year to date, you can do a month to month if you want to. It'll not only show you what you've made, but also the percentage of the entire gross amount.
Wow.
And you can compare it to last year.
Yeah.
Right? So that way you can say, you know what? I can see maybe we took a dip in bookkeeping income, but we did pretty well, in workshop income. When then you can take it a step further. Which workshops did well, right?
Okay.
And then just keep running that play, and then like for the service income, like the products and services, here's some more game for you too, Lou.
Yeah.
You can run a profit and loss just off of the products and services alone.
This is blowing my mind. Like, truth be told, I'm going to just be honest with everybody listening, because I'm a podcaster too, and honesty is the best thing. Like, you talking to me, probably about 5 to maybe 7%, or maybe 10% if I want to be generous, is what I know. But you're talking about like breaking down the products and services and even being more, I'm like, it's almost like a different language that I'm trying to learn at this point. But I can sense your conviction, and I can sense like you're not just saying these things just to say these things.
Absolutely not, because you need that information. Like I'll tell people all the time, and I'll be honest, because folks want funding, right? We can't even talk funding unless your numbers are organized. Those grantors are going to ask you how long you've been in business, how much money have you made. They're checking to see, your growth. And they're also checking to see what services you provide. If you're doing like a business pitch, right? They're going to ask, the more details you have, I will not say the less questions that they have, but at least they'll be able to say, he or she is about their business. And especially when it comes to those numbers, you got to know. And that's why you have QuickBooks. And that's one of the reasons why I really appreciate QuickBooks, because you can flip that data. You can get that P&L in different types of ways. You can get your balance sheet in different types of ways. Your accounts receivable, all of that. It can show you, if you do invoices, which customers have the oldest outstanding invoices with you over 30 days, 60 days, 90 days out.
There you go.
Right? So there's plenty of data that you can pull out of QuickBooks. You just have to have somebody to help you pull that data.
Incredible. Well, I'm in class today. I got the desk. I got what the book. Turn to chapter 7 because, and this is, I come to even realize like, as you grow in business, I was talking to somebody the other day. They said a lot of businesses where they struggle is that paperwork, the financials, and making sure like all of that is concrete, because that's how you elevate past that level of just hustle into like establishing a legitimate business, one that lenders and other people take extremely serious. And truth be told, you're saying some things now is kind of like, if you were to ask yourself that question and you don't easily know it, then it makes you think, okay, why is it that I don't know it? And then how do I remedy that?
Yeah.
So this is incredible.
Right. Exactly. So, couple more questions. So, I know you had mentioned a tax person. So, kind of talk us through kind of like the relationship that you have with your tax person.
Yes. I know one of my, and I'll call him investors / business partners. He's so much more experienced, but he basically, her name is Lynn Yao, and she's been his tax preparer for some time.
And
So he was just like, hey, Lynn will help you give her what she needs. And I think she was like, something, she needed something from QuickBooks. So then I told Muhammad, like, hey, she needs the thing. So you see, I'm kind of like, okay, Muhammad, just go ahead, give Lynn the thing. And then Lynn takes it and then she processes it. So, but that's kind of how it's been. To be honest, I don't know too much about, what she's doing behind the closed doors or how, but I do know she asked for some kind of like paperwork. And then I was like, hey, Muhammad, this is what they're asking for. And Muhammad was like, oh, okay. And he gave it, and then I sent it to her.
Gotcha. So even in that, just having Muhammad to be able to be the liaison between you and the taxpayer, how does that feel?
Now that I'm talking to you, this listener's probably like, oh my God, what he doing? But I feel like I want to know a little bit more about how that world works. I feel like maybe the reason why I'm not too concerned about how that world works is because it doesn't pay. It's like, I feel like sometimes like, man, this is just taking my time. Let's just have somebody else do it. But I think I'll be honest. I'll be like, it's not sexy. It's like, man, if I talk to this new prospect, that's the opportunity to do business, quote, bring them in. But if I'm talking about taxes, now they want something from 2021, 2022, and I got to go into QuickBooks. It's kind of like, what is the fruit of that interaction versus that Apple, whereby it's like, I can close somebody for X amount, bring them in, start a new campaign, take care of a client. So that's a great question. But now it's making me kind of be like, well, am I being efficient about how I'm correlating between Muhammad and Lynn, and how do we, what should we be looking out for? Yeah, I never really put too much thought into that area.
Right. So here's one of the things that I can definitely say. Mindset is still a big thing when it comes to how we see what we call subject matter experts, consultants, tax preparers, bookkeepers, right? I know I'm going to get, I want to say Dan Henry, little dude with the glasses.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking
about. So there was an IG reel where he did an interview with a young man outside of, I think it was some type of conference that they were attending. And Dan Henry asked, I guess his assistant, like, give me my book bag. And he asked the young man, like, if I sold you this, if I asked you to buy this book bag for $1,000, what would be your immediate reaction? And it was just like a little, kind of like old school JanSport, a little backpack.
Yeah.
And dude was like, oh, $1,000 backpack, crazy, I ain't buying that. And he was like, that's the number one, disconnect between, and I would say like an expense and an investment. Right? Because a more seasoned entrepreneur, or I say not seasoned, but maybe experienced entrepreneur, will not ask how much it costs, but what's inside. What am I going to get if I get the backpack? Right? That's one of the things, like when we offer our, bookkeeping packages and things like that, yes, it's an investment. I do not, tell folks otherwise. That's why we have tiered services, right? But you're still going to get subject matter quality content, whether it's in a webinar, an ebook, which is DIY, or if you do done with you, if we give you a little hand holding, even if it's done for you, where you like, child, just do it all. Even in that, our mission is to empower entrepreneurs to prioritize their numbers. So even in the DFY, if you like, child, just take it out, like, we got to still come at me because we need to talk about these numbers. And we got questions, right? So you're still going to be held accountable. I like to see like the Power Rangers.
Okay.
Right? Everybody got color, right? Blue, pink, purple, gray, all of that. And when we all get together,
oh my God,
Power Rangers, boom.
Oh my God.
Right?
Yeah.
We're here to help keep you safe, right? So while you thinking about, $1,000 a month, hypothetically speaking, is a lot of money, but guess how much protection you're investing in with that individual.
Yeah.
Right? But hear me clearly, because if folks out here charging big boy money and not putting out big boy output and offering protection. So that's why we also, I do a video, it's on our YouTube channel, about the 4 financial roles: the bookkeeper, the tax preparer, the tax planner, and the CPA.
Wow.
Because a lot of people get these, roles mixed up.
Wow.
Like they assume tax people do bookkeeping, and that's not always the case. They assume bookkeepers do taxes. That's not always the case. They assume that the CPA, in most cases, because they got letters behind their name, are better than bookkeepers, and that's not always the case either. Because 9 times out of 10, if you invest in CPA, depending on what your business look like, you might not even see the CPA, right? So this real talk. You might just see the people that they work under. So I go through all 4 of those, and also, give people questions to ask. Like when you deal with a tax preparer, I never ask the tax preparer, do they do business taxes? Ask them, do they complete the form that your business requires? If you're a S corp, do you prepare the 1120? If you are a sole proprietor or, LLC, do you prepare the Schedule C? Never ask them, do you prepare business taxes? Because it's like you said, they probably just trying to get your money. They're like, yeah, do business taxes. Yeah, come on. That's why you got to be specific, right? The devil's always in the details.
Yeah.
So we have to get to a point where when we're investing, right, it's always about what's in it for me, what level of protection, especially when it comes to bookkeeping, taxes and stuff. Your tax preparer, your bookkeeper should be able to provide you compliance. They should be able to say, I call like, hey, big head, right? Hey,
yeah.
Like this corporate transparency act stuff that's going on. We just recently did a reel about that. Just to hip you up on game and to give you the, foresight to be able to protect you in some things.
Wow.
And to also be able to tell you the truth. Because when we start doing like bookkeeping and things like that, not that I tell you, most of our folks start getting tight in the chest because they realize now that they knew that they were commingling and mixing business and personal. But baby, once you start doing those line by line itemizations and categorizing, and it's all going to owner's draw, then they start like, right, like, yeah, it's gonna hurt, but you need to see that and sit in this.
Yeah.
So next year we won't have to do this again.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh my God.
Right. So that's what you get when you invest in an expert. You have a partner, right? Somebody's working with you, not necessarily for you.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's powerful. I said I gotta go back to the drawing board. Yeah. And it makes you think too as well, really bringing in an expert that has that experience lens to tell you, hey, this is what I see is going on. This is the great job you've been doing here. But hey, over here, this is a red flag, right? And now that you mention it, you hear these stories about people and their finances whereby, somebody been in business 7, 8, 10, 15 years, and then boom, IRS comes or something wasn't done or something wasn't overlooked or something like that. So I see what you're saying is like, You are making sure your future is problem free. You're making sure that you can set yourself up accurately, precisely, if it's for brands, if it's for funding, if it's for just making sure. So it's like, go through, because I think sometimes with finances, people are like, oh, that's my private parts. That's my intimate details.
Right.
Don't be looking in there. But truth be told, I think part of being a business owner is that, yeah, but not really, because you're eventually going to grow to do business with other people, and they need to be able to look under the hood to say, okay, how reliable, what is it that I'm getting myself into?
Right, exactly. And that's one of the things that and I talk to my team about that a lot, is that when people are talking about money, for them to even schedule the discovery call with us is a win.
Wow.
Because you don't even know how long it's taking them, to either watch us, peep us out, see if we really about our business, because they probably got bumped upside the head by somebody else.
Yeah.
Right? So you have to take those things. We have to really treat our clients with care in that regard and create that safe space. So like with our discovery calls, it's really just, we provide like a form to get some preliminary information, but we tell this is kind of like, for lack of a better word, Dr. Phil session. Like, we just want to hear your heart about what's going on with your money, because we have to be able to, till the ground.
Yeah.
But in a gentle way, with that. But yeah, I mean, you have to, even in that safe space, just understand where people are coming from. And there was something else I was going to say, because even like, just like you said, people can be affected from things that have gone, awry, right? In their, taxes and or bookkeeping, things like that. But then you also have, those who are just starting out.
Yeah.
Right? And you don't want to, first impressions are everything. So you just want to make sure. I'm a teacher by trade, so that's just kind of what I do.
Yeah.
Right. I try to make things fun and relatable, and where it's easy to understand. If they don't understand, you have to take the time to break that thing down.
Gotcha.
And then even like with a lot of our webinars and stuff, we have emotional checkpoints like, hey, how you doing? We got the little dude sitting on the question mark like this. How you doing? Because we just have to address the emotional part. And if they're overwhelmed, we got to take a step back. We got to take a step back. There have been a couple of workshops and stuff where I've presented and they sent me the outline, and I was just like, y'all, if you try to give them, it's like feeding them through a fire hose. We're going to have to break this down. We can't do this in an hour and a half. We got to break this out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because I understand, especially, with, like you said, when you're dealing with money, and especially if it's somebody who's never done it before or has done it and it's been a bad experience, it can immediately be overwhelming. So you just have to make sure that you understand your clients well enough to be able to walk them through that process.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I think, well, for me, and I think it may be similar to other people that are newer entrepreneurs, but there is emotion tied to money. How much money do I have in my bank balance? How does the money flow in and flow out? Or let me just focus on the grind. Let me just focus on the hustle on the front end and just pull more in. And I think sometimes looking at money, maybe for guys, I don't know if it's the same for women, is like our sense of value. Like our sense of, this is what this is what represents me currently. I remember somebody told me, one of my sisters was like, hey, you seem to be like really positive when you have money flowing in, but it's like, she said you tie your identity to how much money you have, or like your flow. I said, you got, I was like, that's something I have to work on. But even I think that's probably why sometimes people don't want to go into that area, because it's a little bit, hey, this happened when I was 6, or my mom and pop was like that, and growing the business hasn't been the easiest thing. So it can kind of bring up a stir or like this mix of emotions. But I think that's also where they'll find the greatest growth, the greatest joy once they go through that process as you're talking about, to make sure, because it's like you're balancing, you're protecting, you're bolstering, you're reinforcing, you're understanding. So you're actually creating a better future.
Right. And one of my coach, Sean Strickland, she has a program called M3, like Money Mastery program. And that's where we talked about, like, you are not your numbers.
Yeah.
Right. That's the first place where I heard it. Right. Because I was also, at that time, I was still working a full-time job, but just being able to, and just for context, like for me, I've remarried. I was divorced. I had 2 biological children.
Really?
Once I remarried, we got 3 more boys. So it was 5 boys all together.
Yeah.
And me and my husband out here just, doing and building.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, that's all that I felt like, I had,
Wow.
to offer. Right. And then especially in a blended family, sometimes that's what other people see that you have to offer. That's another episode.
And we got episodes, man. Woo! Y'all stay tuned. Y'all hit that subscribe button, because
yeah. And so that's one of the things, key takeaways that I tell people, especially like in our most recent workshop, the Business Finance Blueprint Boot Camp, where we talk about, you're not your numbers. Your business numbers are not a reflection of you.
Yeah.
They are just a reflection of the performance of your business, right?
Wow.
And just like, where you can make changes, your business can make changes, right? So but you also have to make sure, also I tell people that you, as the CEO of your business, you are an asset,
Yeah.
right? So that means you have to take care. We talk about protecting your assets.
Yeah.
And take care of them. You have to take care of you and protect you. And that's part of it too. Sometimes you might have to talk to somebody to be able to separate, right? Okay, another way of commingling,
Yeah.
right? For you mentally separating the business from the person, right? You might need some, support. What does that look like? It may be therapy. It may also be like a community with other CEOs, right?
Yeah.
Because there's certain things that I can vent to, with Rico, that he can understand, maybe from a leadership standpoint.
Yeah.
Because my husband is the leader's leader. He's a leader through and through.
Yeah.
But he's not an entrepreneur,
Okay.
right? But there's a place where I've got my, associate inner circle sisters. I got M3. I got a couple of other
Places.
coaching communities, right? Where I can kind of vent or either ask specific questions to get the help that I need.
Beautiful.
Right. And so those are the ways that I take care of myself.
Amen.
Right. Because, you are the asset as well. So yeah, we talked about that too. I told you when it comes to money and emotions, you have to be prepared.
Yeah. And truth
You
be
have to prepare to
told,
help.
that's why we need podcasts like this. This is why we need episodes, because I almost feel like a bit of a weight has been lifted off my back just talking to you. But it makes me realize, like, I didn't grow up with, God bless my people and God, bless my parents and stuff of that nature. But even money for them was it wasn't like the prettiest thing in the world. And I still see it even till today. So, I think I have to be cognizant about how I see the emotions I attack, how I look at it, and what they say, make those changes, make those positive changes, learn from how they went through what they built. And truth be told, everybody that's listening, all the future listeners, podcasts like this is what's really going to help you stabilize. I'm so excited for the episodes you're going to be putting out into the future, Sonia, because I feel like as a community, you will see like even experienced entrepreneurs that their financials or the way they look at money or how they like handle that back end is not exactly the best. But I think we live in a country whereby you only have so much time to not make sure all of that is in proper place and in proper order before it implodes on you. And I think one thing that I'm thinking now is like, when something implodes, that's going to be a whole lot of emotional energy, a whole lot of like, oh, I got to go through this and the IRS and they digging through this. So it's like, you might as well get started now. You might as well like make those changes now before the future show up and give you that. It ain't going to be no tap on the back.
Right. Exactly. You got to, and that's the thing. Like, we got another thing, mindset, hello mindset. You got to be in a position where you have to start doing things, especially as they come around. Like, I'll call myself out. When I'm on meetings and like our weekly meetings with my team, I'm, really pushing myself to take care of those things that they need from me right then. Yeah. Because I'm going to be pulled all types of ways. Same thing like I'll use the Corporate Transparency Act, right? So with the Corporate Transparency Act, if your LLC was created before January the 1st, 2024, you actually have until the following year. I'm not even telling folks that. I'm like, get your tail up and get that thing done as soon as that form comes out. Yeah. Because you don't want to play with fans like that. Yeah. We don't know what these fines and stuff are going to look like or how they even going to, try to find you. You don't even want to know. Yeah. Just go and do what the folks asking you to do, right? Same thing like with late tax filing. Like, we've got folks that come to us and they haven't filed, like you said, out of fear. It's really out of fear that they haven't filed taxes in prior years, because of that, because they know they made money, but they know they haven't taken those profits and paid, their estimated taxes and stuff like that. Well, I mean, it's just like, hey, you better just come on, get this whooping. It's bound to happen. Yeah. You not filing your taxes only making it worse. Let's just go get this over with, right? Yeah. But also, in a good sense, like, let's talk about the PPP. There were entrepreneurs who were qualified for it that were scared to take it. Good. One, because they didn't trust the government. Two, it was Fed money. I'm just going to call it out, right? But you had to have a trusted voice to say, hey, whether you get the PPP, which was a forgiven loan, or the EIDL, which wasn't a forgivable loan, but it was by far probably the cheapest money that you were going to get, probably in our lifetime, right? Because that was like 3.75% amortized over 30 years, right? So when you're talking about those things and having to, again, you need a partner, because I had to bring a couple people on to say, like, hey, you qualify for this money. Yeah. Well, what if they don't tell me so? What if I don't get it forgiven and stuff like that? Why? Like, you got the catch. First of all, I don't see you not being forgiven for this, right? Because you've done everything that you were supposed to do. And out of I think we had 7 people that we actually got them to apply for the PPP, all 7 of them, because they did what we asked. They did what they were supposed to do and send up the business the right way before us. Yeah. They all got their loans forgiven. Wow. So again, you have to just, as a CEO, you have to take ownership of your goofs. Yes. Right? But have a partner that's also going to not only just love on you, but also kind of look you upside your head, might bump you on your forehead. Definitely. Yeah. Like, hey, man. Right. Yeah. So that's the beauty of partnership and what it's all about.
Incredible. Well, I said, what? It's a Thursday in December. I said, this is exactly what God said needed to happen today. In fact, if you're listening to this, because you needed to listen to this at this point. And I think one thing that I'm noticing from talking to you, the importance of that subject matter expert, because you said so many different things that from your body language, from your tone of voice, from how your head is moving back, I could tell that you've been in rooms, you've talked to people, you've seen things. such as anybody who's listening, or even myself, I could tell with a marketing campaign what's going to happen, or how we should navigate, or do this, don't do that. But what's interesting is that you're dealing in a realm whereby it has a whole lot more powerful ramifications. So yeah, this has been what they say, an eye opener. and I think one thing, I represent a lot of the Black community, truth be told. You know, especially either the younger generations who are just getting started, or entrepreneurs in general who are getting started, or I don't know, the ones that are more experienced, maybe putting things on the back burner. So, and I wouldn't say just the Black community, I'll say entrepreneurs in general. So I think as I'm speaking, I speak for insurmountable amount of people that are, you know, in similar shoes or navigating the waters. Hey, maybe I should focus on this, I shouldn't focus on that. So now this has been, I would say, even a blessing to be here and to learn. And I think most importantly, what I've come to realize as an entrepreneur, implement. Put something on the calendar. Let's talk to somebody. Let's just make sure, get it out the way. It's uncomfortable, but get it out the way. Call somebody, get it out the way. Because America, the type of place, you think you all out, put it on the back, and they snatch you right up by the collar. They, you know, just come in, and the feds got that authority and they have that power. So, you know, then you gonna sit down, what they say, time out. You don't want the Fed time out.
Right. It's kind of like in the education space, they have this little meme, like if you had, you know, computer class, or if you had time on your computer at school, you know you looking at something you know you weren't supposed to be looking at, and you think the teacher wasn't looking, and all of a sudden they'll just kind of pat you on your back, say, go on, log off. Log off that computer, baby.
Yeah.
That's what that's what they be like.
Yep.
And like I was telling folks, like with the PPP, if you read the fine print, that they said you had to hold on to those records for at least 5 to 6 years. Right? For such a time as this. Y'all think the government will go sit up there and this just my opinion. They need to go sit up there and give y'all all that money and ask for it back. And the way folks showed out, at least that first round, folks was like, boom, money.
Yeah.
Yeah, they come back
came
for
back
it. They
around.
check and make sure everybody, right, they filed their PPP. Like I said, this is my opinion. This is not vetted information. But, yeah, they're going to have to get that money somewhere, shape, or form, and they're going to get the folks that I'll say are pretty obvious to get. Those mom and pops and those that have, like, you know, those smaller scale businesses. Trust me, because the corporations, they got the legal teams to put that on lock.
Yeah. You
so
so
guess
right.
what?
Yeah.
Right. So we are here to get you in position.
It's bright.
So this what we waiting on. The deacon ain't here. Won't you come? So come on.
Yep.
We can help you get in position. Like the building blocks.
Friday.
We got you. And if we don't know, we're going to find out.
That's right.
We're not going to leave you hanging. So, woo.
That's the way you hear me say, woo. This, yeah. This is incredible. No, but I'm thankful too as well. You know, being here, being in a situation, being able to listen to you, and then your discipline, your structure, you going through the experience of learning about these forms and the paperwork. And you mentioned something earlier, and I said, that's how I know. You said the tax preparer, the CPA, the accountant, the tax planner. I said, oh, God. I just knew about one of those, CPA, and I just know the 3-letter initial. That's it. So there's a reason why God creates people, because you can't do everything by yourself. Isn't it?
Right. And I'll be honest with you, too, Lou. Like, I would, be posting things on social media, and folks will just, or even in person, like we're doing a vending event, and folks will ask, are you a CPA? I was like, no, I'm not. And they just look at me like I was screwed. I'm like, okay, well, go on into CPA and let me know how that works.
And that's
the thing. And I'm not pulling on CPAs at all, but it's just the fact that you should have to understand that every CPA most CPAs are niched out. What a lot of folks don't know, right? Because when it comes to compliance and things like that, from a CPA standpoint, there's just a lot of things that have to be covered, and it's easier for them from workforce perspective just to be niched out with certain industries. A lot of folks don't know that. But then they also have teams, right? That's why CPAs, in most cases, you're gonna see all at least these three within the CPA firm more likely, right? But you still have to ask questions because not every CPA firm is cookie cutter.
Incredible.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm tired of folks in there looking at me like I was slob. Talk about because I'm not a CPA. Sorry, I'm Memphis. That's the slaw. It's Memphis' turn. But I'm like, well, we are here to help folks. So you just, I see you on the other side.
Yes. Yes.
Mm-hmm. So I guess let's wrap it up. We have been talking, and you two have been sharing some major nuggets. As a CEO, you have shown us, like from the beginning, right, of your business, where you were like, hey, I don't know what I was really doing, but my investor, right, teammates, because you have to have good people around you to say, hey, you need QuickBooks. You need somebody to help manage your QuickBooks.
Hey.
So Tolu, we've seen how Tolu went from chaos to clarity.
And I wanna end it. Look, talking to you, I realized there's levels to the chaos and clarity. And I may have clarity on certain levels, but talking to you has really planted the seed to say, oh no, there's other levels we gotta go make sure it's more clarity because I'm when they say you speaking a different language to somebody and you trying to nod your head like you understand what they talking about, but deep down you like, where's the textbook at? Because I gotta peel that back right open. So this is incredible. I'm excited for everybody that's listening because it is an incredible blessing. Just me, myself, just the last 50 plus minutes. There's so many things I want to implement. There's so many more questions. And I think this is the thing. You've opened my mind to the types of questions I should be asking and certain expectations I should be looking for. So yeah, that's incredible.
Wonderful, wonderful. So again, thank you, Tolu, for coming in and blessing our audience. Let people know how they can get in touch with you if they want to reach out to you about fix my webinar, fix my podcast, all that good stuff.
Yeah, so best place, Instagram, Tolu, TOLU .OWOYEMI. Just send us the word growth. Hey, I've heard you on, the Chaos of Clarity podcast, and we got a special thing.
All right, y'all. So you heard it here first. Thank you guys again for listening to the From Chaos to Clarity podcast, right? Unleashing your business potential. Again, I'm Sonia Jones of GIP Financials. You're Mr. Miyagi Money. We will see you on the next one. Take care, y'all.
Yes.